Hey everyone, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, and welcome to the Geek Saga Show's new-ish solo podcast series, Impulsive Hyperfocus. First things first, follow me at A Geek Saga on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or Twitter for insight into my life and, of course, updates about this and other Geek Saga Entertainment endeavors. And if you want early access to these and other podcast-only recordings, links to personal Spotify playlists, show notes, writing samples, and more, check out the Geek Saga Entertainment Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment. If you haven't listened to my previous Impulsive Hyperfocus episodes, I have been starting out by highlighting one thing about myself. And this time around, I of course have to mention that this is, in fact, my 100th Geek Saga podcast episode. It's taken me quite a while to get to this point. The first ever Geek Saga episode was posted way back in February 2018. My subjects have run the gamut from generic ones about conventions and cosplay to nearly 50 panel recordings from conventions to more recently the Hot D Takes and 90s and Naughties series that I co-host with my podcast partner Manny, who is absolutely amazing and I literally cannot give enough props to. And finally, this newest solo series. All that said, now that I've reached 100 episodes, I will very likely be archiving some of the older ones, either because they aren't really relevant anymore or because the sound quality on many of the older ones, especially the panel recordings, is so bad as to be embarrassing. So if you're listening to this around the time of it going live, that being early July 2024, just know that quite a few of my episodes from 2018 and 2019 especially will soon have very limited availability. But hey, back to the important stuff. This 100th episode thing really snuck up on me, though to be honest, the timing is pretty perfect because for years I have wanted to do an episode or episodes on my absolute favorite video game series of all time, Red Dead Redemption. Combined with the fact that I literally just got back from Black Hills Redemption, an all Red Dead event in Deadwood, South Dakota, I couldn't imagine hyper-focusing, maybe not so impulsively this time, on these games that I love and that honestly changed my life. In fact, I have so much to say about them that I have a feeling I'll need to split this into at least two parts. Probably more. Otherwise, it's likely to be a single 3+ hour long episode that no one will ever finish listening to. And on that note, time to get into how I discovered this all-time favorite video game series of mine. I suppose I should mention that while I know the first official game in the series was Red Dead Revolver, I did not play that until after I played Red Dead Redemption, and even once I did not spend much time playing it. In fact, while I know there are several playable characters other than the main one, Red Harlow, I never spent enough time on the game to play any of them other than him. And in fact, all I really remember about playing it years and years ago was the shooting games portion, or was it shooting practice? Either way, while I've definitely checked it out, Red Dead Revolver is neither here nor there for me. And just to be clear, this isn't at all me shitting on the game. I respect it for what it is. It's just that by the time I even knew it existed, I was into the much preferred open world and far better graphics of the first Red Dead Redemption. And speaking of Red Dead Redemption, my significant other at the time, Steve, picked it up right around the time it was released, though he did so on a whim when he saw it on display at our local GameStop. I know it came out in like mid-ish May 2010, so it was, let's say, late spring or early summer when he started playing it, and in the nearly 2 years I had been dating him at that point, I had never seen him so sucked into a video game. Now, that's not to say that he hadn't been obsessed with other specific games in the past. This was just the first time I'd ever seen him in that mode, okay? So at first, I was just kind of in the room reading or working on whatever story I was writing at the time while he played. But soon enough, I was sucked into it as well. And while I've never quite been able to pinpoint what it was exactly that grabbed my attention about Red Dead Redemption, I ended up watching him play the game like I would watch a movie. And I was a very bad backseat driver. Honestly, kudos to Steve for being super patient with me during this time, even when I questioned his decisions while he was playing the game or asked what were probably very silly questions. But what really hooked me and made me want to play for myself was the ending. Because, oh my God, that ending. When Steve finally got to the end and John Marston died, I don't think either one of us believed it was supposed to end that way. He immediately went back and played John's final mission again, and of course, he died again. At this point, Steve was ready to believe that this was the official ending and there was no way to change it, but I definitely was not ready to believe that and insisted that he try one more time. And of course, he died yet again. By then, I was actually distraught. Even though I'd only been watching Steve play, I'd gotten really freaking attached to John Marston. And in the end, Steve actually had to Google the game ending to prove to me that yes, it was supposed to happen that way and there wasn't anything the player could do to prevent it. Was I happy with that? No. But I think that is a big part of what made me go from simply being intrigued with the game to being, well, downright obsessed with it. And playing it myself only fueled that obsession rather than quelling it. Side note, before I get into my more sappy, positive feelings about Red Dead Redemption, I know I'm not alone in experiencing spawning issues when playing the game, but man, was it frustrating as fuck that my mere presence seemed to spawn cougars and bears. No lie, one night I got attacked by 11 bears, at times several at once, but literally without a breather or break between them. I eventually had to throw the controller at Steve that night because I'm not totally amazing at video games and I was kind of overwhelmed. The only other thing that I wanted to mention that I do not like and had admittedly forgotten about until after I played Red Dead Redemption 2 and then eventually got back into Red Dead 1 is the fact that in Red Dead 1, you can skin horses. This is one game mechanic that never should have existed. And yeah, I'm very happy it was not available in Red Dead Redemption 2. But now for all the things, the good things, that is. As for the more generic stuff, obviously RDR had really cool graphics for the time. Graphics that, of course, don't hold a candle to RDR 2, but can still, at least in my opinion, stand on their own even 14 plus years later. I also love me a good sandbox game, and on top of being that, Red Dead gave players a pretty amazing variety of terrain, including some damn picturesque vistas. Plus, and again, this is keeping in mind that it's more than 14 years old and also setting aside Red Dead 2 for a moment, okay? It had an amazing and almost surprisingly deep storyline. Sure, the dialogue is cheesy at times, but it does take place in the Old West. And really, the story gives you so much. Not just John's plot, but also the enigmatic stranger, for instance, and the dynamic of the John and Bonnie relationship. To dwell on John and Bonnie for just a moment, I think I probably have some pretty controversial feelings about it. Namely that while definitely subtle, I do believe they were attracted to each other, and sure, their respect for each other was more obvious, but I also find it hard to believe that with everything they went through together, neither one of them developed, feelings. Obviously, John is tied to his wife and son, and as far as we know, he remained true to that relationship. And anyway, Bonnie doesn't seem all that upset about being considered an old maid, quote unquote, nor does she seem to be the type to go chasing after any dude, especially a married one whom she respects. But, can you tell I kind of love her a lot? I mean, sure, I also cosplayed her, but I think that story is one that needs to be saved for part 2 of my Red Dead reflections. Okay. Back to the subject at hand, though, before this recording gets out of hand. For now, I'm going to get into some thoughts that will possibly sound even more dicey to others than the ones I have about John and Bonnie, but keep in mind that some of this surely depends on one's own personality, how one chose to play the game, etc., etc. Mainly, the idea I had about the gang from Red Dead Redemption was that they'd maybe been ruthless at times, but they'd also had a sort of Robin Hood type code, steal from the rich, give to the poor. And by that, I mean random poor strangers, not just keeping it within a quote unquote fam that was comprised of some people who were or had once been poor. Hold on. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I'm going to rewind a bit to say that after watching Steve play the game and then playing it myself, and both of us going back and playing around in the open world very consistently over the course of, let's say, about 4 years, I understood that it was possible to turn John Marston into an honorless, quote unquote, bad guy as you played. But my experience was that this wasn't what the general storyline and missions encouraged you to do. And of course, with the bounty systems and whatnot, they didn't exactly make it easy to go on murdering rampages either. Again, in my opinion. Keeping all of that in mind, to me, the game made it seem that John Marston was, a way better person than he actually was. Like, sure, he was an outlaw, but he turned his back on that and decided to struggle as a small-time farmer so that he could give his wife and son a real family life. Until the government captured him and forced him to do their bidding, holding Abigail and Jack over his head all the while. And yet, even as he's hunting down his old gang members, he's also riding around helping those who can't help themselves. Plus, he remains true to his wife, despite the fact that he's very often surrounded by sex workers or in the company of Bonnie, who is perfect and amazing and great, and don't fight with me on that. Point being, at least how I saw Red Dead Redemption played, and then how I played it myself, the game can for sure lend a hand toward romanticizing John Marston in ways he possibly/probably doesn't deserve. Still, I think no matter how you played the game, you had to have been, if not surprised like I was, then certainly upset and or angry about the fact that the Bureau of Investigation agents betray and kill him in the end. But hey, at least you get to avenge him as Jack, right? Nah. So I've already been waxing on for a bit, and I still have a lot to say about Red Dead Redemption 2. But before I get into that, one thing I want to mention about this game is that I personally have never been happy with the portrayal of Native Americans. Their involvement with Dutch seems to be used as a justification to kill them, but also I can't help but feel that this lends a hand in furthering that shitty basic American history rhetoric that others, mainly white people like me, honestly, gonna put that out there, were justified in the relocation and genocide of Native Americans. Not to mention seeming more like a plot that is supposed to show the otherness of Dutch, a white man, and his opposition to civilization and the government. There's a lot more I could say about some issues that I have with the first Red Dead Redemption game, but I feel like those deserve their own deep dive, so I'm not going to get into it right now. And before I can even get into Red Dead Redemption 2, I still have to talk about Undead Nightmare. Obviously, we all know that zombie media really exploded in the 2010s and teens, and much of that can be contributed to The Walking Dead, but Undead Nightmare came out just before Halloween in 2010, almost a week before the first episode of TWD aired, in fact. And to this day, it's still probably the best DLC I've ever played. I'm not going to get into it too much, only because I haven't played it in a long time, despite the fact that we bought the re-release version of Red Dead that came out last year, and it includes Undead Nightmare. Listen, it's been on my docket, but life keeps happening. But yeah, I just wanted to say that even if it's obviously not canon, I love Undead Nightmare. The Sasquatch story is nothing if not heart-wrenching, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite part, collecting the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Like, listen, I know the supposedly pestilence is the hardest to find. I can't even remember if I found that one, but honestly, war was so fucking cool looking that I didn't and honestly don't really care. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, Undead Nightmare is really freaking cool and everyone should play it, but I don't really want to say any more than that because I know there are a lot of people who played Red Dead Redemption 2 who haven't even touched Red Dead 1, let alone Undead Nightmare, and might want to. And speaking of playing Red Dead Redemption 2, y'all, I went back through old blog entries and articles that I wrote, and even as far back as October 2013, I was posting about news, or maybe it was just rumors, that Red Dead 2 would have a 2014 release. Like, yeah, okay. Now, we did get an actual official trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 in October 2016, and that was like my life's blood for a hot minute. Not only did they give us a vague-ish release date of fall 2017, again, lol, but there was finally an official description of the game that read, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an epic tale of life in America's unforgiving heartland. The game's vast and atmospheric world will also provide the foundation for a brand new online multiplayer experience. The trailer itself was our first glimpse of some, not surprisingly, amazing graphics, as well as some throwaway dialogue that really didn't tell us anything about what was to come. Also, to be honest, while I understood that having the online multiplayer option would be a huge plus for some people, all I really cared about was having the chance to once again immerse myself in the world of Red Dead. Though I did write, and this is a quote, I just wonder if the story can truly match up to the original. If we only knew then what we knew now, right? The article I wrote also mentioned some very John Marston-esque shots that led me to believe that RDR2 was the prequel many claimed it would probably be. An idea that I wasn't originally all that fond of, but after seeing that trailer in 2016, I was really just hoping for more John Marston. Also, if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, Tara, you're such an idiot, there were a lot of rumors over the years that were quickly proven to be just that. And yeah, Rockstar really did keep tight reins, pun absolutely intended, on anything about Red Dead 2. I'm just saying, I'd been playing Red Dead for years and following the news for years. And so seeing this trailer was like, ooh, what are we getting? More John Marston? A John Marston prequel? Yay. Of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 did not come out in the fall of 2017, though it was released in the fall of 2018 on October 26th, which was in fact exactly 8 years after Undead Nightmare's release. Guys, I have so many feelings and so much personal history with Red Dead Redemption 2, all of which far surpasses everything I experienced with Red Dead Redemption. And I've already been waxing on about that for a while. Because of that, and because of how long I've already been recording, a lot of my deeper experiences with RDR2, thoughts on stuff like theories, symbolic outfits, and the future of the series are going to be relegated to part 2, if not part 3. We'll have to see. I have a lot to talk about, but I also don't want to completely avoid any and all Red Dead Redemption 2 discussion in this special 100th episode. So I thought it would be fun to revisit the very spotty, yet sometimes hilarious playthrough commentary that I posted on Twitter. I won't be reading every tweet that I posted, but some of them are pretty good, and I thought it would be fun to review them here and maybe even give some insight on what they were referencing. Side note, I actually hosted a big Halloween party the weekend Red Dead 2 came out and had friends visiting from out of town. So while the game was released on October 26th, I didn't actually get to start playing until the 28th. And yes, despite the crazy amount of fun I had that weekend, it was so fucking hard waiting 2 whole days to start playing the game. But once I did, it was finally horsey time. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that even though by this time Steve and I had split, we were still friends, and horsey time was what we called playing Red Dead 1. So other than it finally being horsey time, my first tweet about playing Red Dead 2 was classic oatcakes, because we don't want any of those newfangled ones. Listen, I don't know. Sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I'm not. If you're listening to this, you can decide for yourself. I am not looking forward to editing this, but from here on out, I'm going to read the tweets pretty much just as I wrote them and give commentary if or when it's necessary, and I hope you'll enjoy this ride. Not the best pun, but yes, still intended. Oh my God. When John finally shows up, because you're playing as Arthur and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm not playing as John. John fucking Marston. And then you get to the first battle with the O'Driscolls and you have to climb that water tower. It's over, O'Driscolls. I have the high ground. Star Wars reference? Yes, no, maybe so. At some point, there's like a thing where you have to follow the tracks of, I don't know, a deer or something, I don't know, whatever. And somebody says, keep following the tracks, Arthur. I never saw any tracks. Also, I hated all the snow. I have very bad eyesight and my TV was very far from my couch and it was very difficult at times. About 1.5 hours in to gameplay, well, I died for the first time. There was also this issue where I was having problems with my horse to begin with because I was not used to these particular game controls. And like, okay, Tara, you can't drive the wagon like you've been riding your horse. Don't fuck this up. When I am driving the wagon for the first time, the wheel immediately falls off. And yes, I know that was not my fault. It's supposed to happen, whatever. But I literally was like, okay, Tara, drive this wagon. Don't fuck it up. And the wheel immediately falls off. And again, I know it's not my fault, but I also was very quickly side-eyeing how snarky Arthur was toward John, which if you hadn't played Red Dead 1, you would probably be like, who cares? But in my opinion, grr. And then apparently when you get your wagon stuck because, I don't know, you aren't paying attention, the game just fails you and claims you wrecked the wagon. So that was fun. Oh my God. Then there's this, and this comes back in a minute. Shot a guy by mistake, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Also ended up wanted and my horse bucked me off. So there's that. 5 hours into gameplay. Red Dead Redemption 2 is hard and I was getting frustrated. Why do I have to hold these buttons down forever all the time? Also, I shot a bear like 5 times and it didn't die. And to round out my first RDR2 session, I just got killed by a cougar, so everything has come full circle. Because again, I got killed by cougars a lot when playing Red Dead Redemption. And this is the very next day. So keep in mind, I started playing this on I think October 28th or 29th, whatever, October 29th or 30th, whatever day this was. The more I thought about it, the more annoyed I was with myself for mistakenly shooting the NPC the last time I played. So I started the entire game over because I was afraid I would miss out on some story. And then I finally get to, okay, I didn't kill the man from Valentine, I guess, but I also was not as diligent about searching bodies. So I had like half as much money as I did at that point the day before. So way to go, me. I definitely didn't get into a fist fight in the Valentine Saloon last night. And wow, that fight was useless and way too long. And I was still broke at the end of it. So I was riding my horse in RDR2 and ran into a bird that was taking off in front of me. And I'm pretty sure I killed it in mid-flight. Fun. This next one, my God. It just took me way too long to figure out what the fuck to do with a double barrel shotgun I just acquired in the game. Oh, you guys all know what I'm talking about here. This mission that I'm on seems to basically be to go to a saloon and get drunk, fight with some random dudes, lose my gang buddy, have random brownouts, and I guess do some can-can dancing. Then I just randomly said, I want the meow meows of the desert cigarette card. And I was taking a break from Red Dead for some Netflix and chill. And I was already feeling bad about it. Okay, so fast forward to like a week later, maybe a little less. I had gone on vacation because I was running a half marathon at Disney World. And I had a date with a man and his horse. I was playing for maybe 5 minutes and some asshole ran into me and seriously injured/killed my horse. And it just laid there twitching until I figured out how to revive it. And that was fucking traumatic. Soon after, I'm thinking, I don't even remember why I'm wanted, but it's causing me a lot of problems tonight. I've been chased down twice, killed once, and had to kill a bunch of people who were chasing me. Oops. And then I saved Mary's dumbass brother and retrieved, aka stole, a stagecoach for some reason. And at that point, it was past time for me to go to bed, and maybe I should not have tried to play Red Dead 2 after driving for 7.5 hours home from Orlando. Now, that said, the next time I played, I was wondering why Red Dead 2 John Marston kind of looked like Daryl from The Walking Dead, at least. So this is like 2018. So, do the math. Check the pictures yourself. Also, it can't just be me who was thrown off by the extra violent animal injuries and deaths in this game, right? And then when you haven't done anything wrong for a while in Red Dead 2, but then some rando rides by and says, stay away from me. I don't like the look of you one bit. What the fuck, man? What did I do? I hadn't done anything wrong. I was kind of goodish at this point. And also, I want to be very clear. I didn't realize that there was actually an option to see a wolf during the scene cuts. I never saw anything but a deer. And when I heard that there was the option of seeing a wolf if you played like dishonorably, I was like, what? What? I never once saw that. I only ever saw the deer. So I maybe should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, wow. This is me, and I never saw anything but the deer. Also, it amused me a lot when you're like driving a wagon in the game with a bunch of the gang members and all of your horses are just like milling around behind you in the wagon as if horses would actually do that, like without any sort of like tethering or whatever. Fine, whatever. It's a game. I know, but listen, sometimes I gotta call it out. Also, robbing the trains, I felt like Cowboy Robin Hood and his merry band of outlaws. Taking it back a little bit to some things from the first game, I guess, until sometimes they were just robbing and beating up random innocent people, that is. Also, why is it so easy to mistakenly kill people in Red Dead Redemption 2? Oh, and I really did not like carrying people on my horse. I felt like it hurt him. Like, I really did not like it. And then I reached a point where the game made me go fishing a bunch, and I did not love it. Like, I hate fishing in real life and in game. There's some personal things there's some personal things going on there, but just saying, did not like the point where the game kept making me go fishing. I hated it. Oh, and then I went out for groceries and got attacked by 20 people, like, for fuck's sake. And this is literally just me rereading my tweets and trying to remember what I was going through at the time. But oh my gosh. So at this point, we're at like November 8th, 2018. And I tweeted, meanwhile, I start a mission and it tells me to bring the dude I captured back to the wagon. But I do that and it fails me because I abandoned my companions. What the fuck? I have no idea what that was about. If you guys remember what mission I'm talking about, that would be great. And then there was this whole thing where like we had to blow up a distillery. And my thought was, but what if I don't want to blow up that distillery? I really didn't. Then I was on that like love mission. I think it was the Braithwaite and the Grays. And all I could think about was how much I loved my horse. You guys, I really did love that horse. I'll get into that in a little bit. And then eventually at some point I was like, OMG, I'm helping suffragettes. My life is complete. Just saying. So this was like early to mid-ish November. I went to a beer festival one day and I had a bunch of people back to my house and I stupidly let some dude that I like barely know, like a significant other of a friend, play for a bit, and he yelled at me for playing inverted and like, fuck you, play like a real person, don't be an asshole. Also, this is my game. Anyway, there's always conveniently a train in Red Dead Redemption 2. I have no idea what that tweet was about. And then the next day I tweeted, I definitely don't remember the last like 3 things I did when I was playing Red Dead 2 last night, and I'm almost afraid to open the game and find out. This is a thing that happened kind of regularly. And honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to edit this, and I hope that if you're listening to this, you're enjoying it, because I have no idea what is going to work and what isn't. And like I said, I'm literally just reading a tweet stream, and I know some of this doesn't make any sense out of context, but on November 11th, 2018, so I was ambushed in Red Dead 2 and my horse was killed. And my last save that included the horse lost me a good 4 hours of gameplay. Fuck my life. That actually, like, that was a huge deal for me. I don't remember what happened okay. I was ambushed. The horse was killed. I don't know why I did not, like, I think it was like beyond horse reviver killing. And I don't know why I did not have a deed to the horse. This makes no sense because I've been playing for God knows how many hours at this point, but my horse was killed because I was ambushed and I was really pissed off about it. And I went back and played a whole bunch of fucking, like I said, like I lost 4 hours of gameplay. So it was like 3 days before I finally re-caught up to where I had previously been in the game. And at this point, so this was like a November 11th when my horse was killed, and I lost all that gameplay because I had to go back and save my horse because I needed that horse because it was the only horse I wanted the entire game. And then like 3 days later on November 14th, I was serving some drinks and a firefight in Rhodes. Great way to start a night playing Red Dead 2, I guess. Sometimes I'd take a dumb mission in Red Dead 2 and want nothing more than to quit, but Goonies never say die, y'all. Christ. I finally acquired another horse in Red Dead 2, and wow, that horse hated me. I can't say I blame her. I made her run through burning tobacco fields. Okay. So on November 16th, I finally caught up with and just barely surpassed what I lost when I went back to my old Red Dead 2 save to retrieve my horse on the 11th. Still hadn't spent much time hunting, so I'm thinking, maybe that'll be the rest of the night. Me. I caught up with all that shit I lost in Red Dead 2. Also me. Immediately dies the same way I did the last time I had to go back for my horse. Thankfully this time I'd properly saved my shit, learned my lesson, I guess. I apparently at this point, my cat and my dog were like, Jesus Christ, Mom, stop playing Red Dead. We want to go to bed, but I ignored them. The O'Driscolls captured me. And I was also, at this point, like I still had that second horse in Red Dead 2, and I knew I needed to start utilizing her, but I just loved my boy so much. And then, damn it, I had to go rescue Jack Marston. I didn't even like the kid, didn't sign on for that shit, but, you know. Oh, fucking Braithwaites and Grays, am I right? Listen, I'm reading these literally like in the timestamps that I posted them. I don't really remember. Like, it's been a long time since I've played the game the entire way through, so I'm so sorry. If you're still listening to this and you want to skip to the end, I totally understand, but I'm going to keep going through this and I will get into stuff about cosplay and Red Dead Online and the events I've been to in the next episode. But I've started this, so I feel like I have to keep doing it. So fucking Braithwaites and Grays, though, am I right? Jesus. Dear Red Dead 2, stop trying to get me to drop my Schofield revolver for some shit cattleman revolver. I hates it precious. Oh, I just want to go hunting and I keep getting drawn into bullshit missions. Why? I feel like that's... So one of the things I really loved about Red Dead 1 was that you could just go hunting and well, I guess once you finish the game maybe, and that's what I'm kind of remembering. Like, I would just go back and go hunting a lot, whatever. And of course I had not finished this game, obviously, and I just wanted to go hunting and it wouldn't let me. And then I ended up in a carriage dressed in some sort of tux going to a garden party, and I had no idea how I got there. But I did praise the number of NPCs at this garden party that I went to. It was amazing. They looked really good. I finally, after many tries, robbed a stagecoach with Lenny, and now I'm getting shot at again by randos. Why? I don't know. Maybe because you robbed a stagecoach? Christ. Some of these things I wrote. What the fuck, Tara? Just got my horse killed in an avalanche, so there's that. And then the last tweet from this is, I think, November 16th of 2018 was they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. And it did include a picture of me as Arthur on the horse with the mountains in the foreground. It fucking looked like you're taking the hobbits to Isengard. I'm sorry, not sorry. Listen, there's a whole ass like hobbit hole in this game. And yeah. Okay, so as was evidenced by all of the tweets I just read, I had played Red Dead for like 9 hours straight the previous night. So now we're on November 17th. And, why not wake up and play more? Started by hunting gators, discovered what can only be a game glitch. Basically, if you're carrying a pelt and try to sell it, but the butcher is closed, if you wait until morning without returning the pelt to your horse, the pelt just disappears. Just saying. That was a glitch. Fun. It's not like this game wasn't short of them. Anyway, after reacquiring a gator skin to sell, I tried to herd a wild boar into Saint Denis. Got it almost all the way to there before I lost it. I have no idea why I was doing that. Like, honestly. My next thought was, well, Sadie is cool, so obviously I have to cosplay her. More to come on that later. Then I was off to find the legendary fox and coyote. I have no idea what happened with that because the next thing I said was all I wanted was to sell some pelts to the butcher, and I was literally forced into a Mary mission, and now I have to sit through a theater show with her. And then I was complaining about how I had to stand on my bed in order to get the game to prompt me to sleep. And then I was fishing in the bayou and my horse was hanging out nearby with its entire head and neck just in the water. Why though? I mean, listen, you guys, this was story mode immediately after the game came out. The number of glitches I saw that were worse than this is like so far and beyond. But as I said, just reading my tweets on the playthrough. Okay, so, oh my God, November 18th, 2018. Jesus fucking Christ, lost Hosea, dead. Lenny, dead. And John, arrested in one effing mission. Damn it, Dutch. Really, seriously, damn it, Dutch. What the fuck? I thought this whole gang going overseas shit was just a joke, but it wasn't. What is going on in Red Dead 2? Immediately after that, Guarma fucking sucks. Like, what the fuck? There better be some payoff here. JFC Dutch is all paranoid about people crossing him, and meanwhile, he's randomly murdering innocent people, so fuck him. I was very anti-Dutch very quickly in this game, let's be real. And it wasn't even because of Red Dead 1. It was because he was like immediately an asshole. Yeah, I'm several missions in and I still hate Guarma. Very soon after that, Jesus, I hated Guarma, but I think I played it too fast because now I'm somehow almost on the last chapter of Red Dead 2. Oh, silly me. As if it was going to end that fast. So I get back to the mainland. I had to steal a random horse and she hated me because she didn't know me. And like, I don't blame her, but I also just wanted her to love me. Oh, and then I killed that new horse. Wow. JFC, I somehow killed that new horse. I don't even know what I did wrong. And that was probably one of the worst things that's ever happened to me in this game. Oh, Tara, just you wait. Just you wait. Why do I have to search every room of the Shady Bell and then fight the damn Pinkertons and then search more? Oh, P.S. I even did a stranger mission on Guarma and I still beat it in a couple of hours at most. Fuck chapter 5 of Red Dead 2, to be quite honest. I still feel that way. I still feel like Guarma was unnecessary as it was, and if they really wanted to have it be like poignant or make a point, either way, Guarma sucked. Fuck Guarma. They fucked that up. Sorry, not sorry, Rockstar. Okay, back in the mainland. Also, wow, thanks Abigail for burying Hosea, but I don't know, fuck Lenny, I guess, because there was like no mention of Lenny. I don't know. That pissed me off. And then I found out Arthur was dying of tuberculosis. So at this point, I thought I'd finished chapter 5, but obviously I hadn't. So my commentary on that was, I'm the worst, I guessed, or this game lumping Guarma in with shit on the mainland makes no sense. Anyway, are you fucking kidding me with this hot air balloon? Why is this comically small hot air balloon a thing? That's all I said about the hot air balloon. It was ridiculous, though. I hated that. I just climbed down into a random gold mine in Red Dead 2, and everyone was just fine with it. Oh, wait, just kidding. People started shooting at me, and I barely escaped. And then I just got bounty huntered and cougared at the same time. It was like both Red Dead games came together to do me in. Apparently, at this point, I had to take a couple nights off from Red Dead 2, which hurt my heart, according to my Twitter feed. I ran into some guy in Saint Denis when I was on my horse by mistake and had the entire law after me. What the fuck? Oh, Saint Denis. What can we say about Saint Denis, y'all? Then I said, when you can't afford to go shopping in real life, you spend a bunch of fake money in RDR too. Yes. I was supposed to be hunting egrets and orchids, but I might have just blown up an alligator with dynamite because I could. Yeah, that sounds like something I would do. JFC, I just searched for Dutch 5 ever and had to leave the camp and do some stupid stranger mission to come back to find him. Why? Congratulations, Red Dead 2. You made me cry. Oh, shit. Okay, this is actually a serious thing. I said, congratulations, Red Dead 2. You made me cry with the Murphy Meredith mission. That was sarcasm. I should not have to cry over a girl being assaulted. I don't really have many issues with Red Dead 2, but I'm sorry. I know I've been trying to be silly here, but this is a very serious note. That mission was fucking rough. I don't know if it's one of the ones that's, to be honest, I don't remember if it's like a forced mission or if you can avoid it at all, but that mission made me cry. And not in a good way. Okay. And well, I guess the times this game made me cry were very rarely in a good way, but this one was like, I'm not going to edit this out. I'm just going to edit it down, but I am going to say that this is one of those missions that I have tried to avoid on playthroughs because it's not. I'm sorry you guys. I don't think that I can. I don't know that I have any like actual funny. Well, I sure as hell don't have any funny things to say about it, but I definitely don't have any smart things to say about it either. This mission was really fucking hard, and there were times later in the game where I cried, but this was a very personally difficult thing for me, and I think that this game does a lot of things really, really well, but I really wish this thing didn't exist. Anyway, there's a lot more drama. There's a lot more stuff I'll get into about the dark stuff in this game. Maybe later. I don't know, actually. I don't think I want to get into the dark things. I think I'll just... Oh, I don't know how I'm going to edit this. Fuck. Okay. I'm emotional. Sorry. Anyway, shit. Where was I? Oh gosh. At this point I was getting, toward the end of the game. At some point I said, today I was just going to explore the unknown in Red Dead 2, but then I somehow ended up killing a village full of people in the middle of nowhere. Oops. Eventually I knew I needed to go find some legendary animals. So it was like, oh, I'm going to go find some legendary animals. Also me. Takes on stranger missions instead because JFC, I hate legendary animals. I'm legit about to murder some random dude who keeps yelling at me as I try to hunt the legendary moose. I don't know why that guy was pissing me off so much. Just rescued John Marston, so my life is basically complete. I just lassoed an elk thinking it was a cow, so there's that. Me, I just want to ride into the wilderness. Also me, I haven't cleaned my guns in 5 ever. What? Oh, I finally said fuck it and rode into tall trees and died like, whoa. I keep trying to go west and keep getting killed, but it's fine. And I'm not talking about how like you couldn't cross the border into like a certain point of the west. It was just, I was going into the west that I was allowed to go into and kept getting killed. And then I was sick for like a week and I started playing the game again. Wow. Literally everyone in Valentine hates me except for the dudes that are part of the 2 random stranger missions that I clearly did not want to do. Just spent probably way too long figuring out how to get into a crashed train for some gold, but I convinced myself it was worth it in the end. Oh God. Since I was on the search for gold, I searched out the burned down town and it looks like a prisoner starved to death in his cell after everyone else in the town died. And whoa, that is dark. Oh my God, this game, you guys. I'm literally reading my like remembrances and I've played this game since then, but it's still weird because there's things I've just like kind of glossed over or not even thought about. And oof. Oh my God. I feel like poor Emmett Granger is just trying to live his best life. And I came around and killed him for a story he didn't want to give. Rude. Anyway, accidentally crashed my horse into the butcher stall and now he's just chilling there. There was a picture of that attached. It doesn't matter. You've all, if you're listening to this far in, you fucking done it. It's happened. You know what I'm talking about. I hope I was supposed to kill that circus lion and the paw thing. Oh yeah, I was really mad about the circus lion. I didn't want to kill that poor boy. He's just a lion trying to live a life. Oh my God. Then you have to drive a hand cart with John. And it's like a fucking cartoon. Like, are we in a fucking cartoon? What is happening here? And at this point, I realized I'm probably only a couple of missions from finishing the main story. And I was both like sad and elated. I don't even know. In the end, not that I'm surprised, but fuck Dutch, y'all. Like really, honestly, not surprised. And this is all happening on like December 2nd. I was trying to finish the main story of the game before I went on like an 8-day trip to Disneyland and Los Angeles and Vegas for my birthday. Gotta be honest. Like, I was rushing through this. So, trying to finish that main storyline of the game. So this whole, like, not that I'm surprised, but fuck Dutch, y'all. Gonna finish this game tonight if it kills me. And it might. Yeah. I don't think it did good things to me. The end of Red Dead 2 is the first time I've actually liked Abigail. Okay, so one thing I want to say about this tweet is that in retrospect, and particularly now that I've replayed Red Dead 1 since then, and that I've played Red Dead 2 again as well, I actually disagree with my own opinion of Abigail. I had a bad opinion of her from Red Dead 1, but I don't know. I had a bad opinion of her from Red Dead 1 that was probably like not even justified back then. And I carried that over into Red Dead 2. So, and also I'm one of those people that it's like really hard for me to like change my opinion of a person. So me saying like at the end of Red Dead 2, it's the first time I've actually liked Abigail. I renege that opinion. Like, I renege everything I felt about Abigail. I actually have way more positive feelings about her, and it's not something I really can get into now. But all I'm going to say is when I said the end of RDR2 is the first time I've actually liked Abigail, is me being like, oh, Tara, you sweet summer child. You like her so much more now that you've like reflected and like grown as a person and played this game and the first game again, etc., etc. So just saying. Anyway, I made it to the end of the main storyline, minus the epilogue, of Red Dead 2 before I went on my big birthday vacation. I was not ready to say anything about it immediately. It was as rough, if not more rough, as the original, though for very different reasons. I cried. I would have been a monster if I hadn't. But the reason I cried was not what one would think. Yeah, sure, Arthur died. We all knew he was going to die. He doesn't exist in Red Dead 1, which is the follow-up, essentially, to this game. So we all knew he was going to die. And also, like, we knew he had tuberculosis and shit. But what I was not expecting was the horse. I know that it's possibly been unclear, but I definitely had other horses in the game very briefly when I absolutely had to. But like the early horse, that the buckskin Morgan or whatever it is that you get, and I kept that horse. He was my main horse throughout the whole game. Like, yes, I got the second horse and I was like, no, I don't. Like, she's fine, whatever. But this is my horse, right? I can't remember what I named him. To be honest, I have a feeling I named him after one of my pets because that's like what I do with my horses in these games. He was probably named like Sticky Bum or Mr. Rigby or whatever. Listen, don't judge me on my horse names and how I name them after my animals. But I kept that fucking horse throughout the entire game. And like, sure, Arthur died, whatever. But what really fucking upset me was the horse because I kept that horse. Like, again, I always wanted my boy, my little buckskin Morgan that I gotten at the beginning of the game. I was very attached to him. I get very attached to things like this. And when that horse got shot out from under me, I had to pause the game and I cried about that horse for like at least 20 minutes. And honestly, I am not ashamed of this. I was attached to that fucking horse. Like, yes, you play as Arthur the whole game, but you know he is going to die, right? You always know he's going to die because he's not in Red Dead 1. You don't know your horse is going to die, and then that horse gets shot out from under you, and you have to watch it die, and yeah, I don't know, whatever. I feel no shame about the fact that I had to pause that game and literally sob on my couch for like 20 minutes about the horse dying. Okay, so after taking some time off, I was finally ready to return to Red Dead 2 for the epilogue. The first thing I had to do was shovel manure. Other fun tasks that I had to start the epilogue with included milking a cow and helping a horse give birth. I was amused, and I don't know, something else? I don't know. Also, apparently I really sucked at roping bulls on foot. And then I did not shovel enough shit or milk enough cows. So Abigail took Jack and left me, and I was in a montage, a ranch working montage. At least I finally got to see John Marston in his Red Dead 1 outfit. That was fun. Then there's a random tweet. Look at Wile E. Coyote over here stealing this photographer's bag. Also, P.S. John Marston is terrible at this whole alias thing. If you know, you know. At this point, we're like close to Christmas of 2018. And I had to take another break. And I'm saying it's been like 2 weeks since I played Red Dead 2. I'm going to finally finish the second epilogue tonight. I gave kudos to my friend Dean, now my husband, by the way, for the constant Red Dead 2 discussion, and my friend Steve for the Red Dead memes, because the two of them were like all that kept me going through like that 2-week withdrawal where I didn't have time to play. But first up, me pulling that shack down at Beecher's Hope. Lean back, lean back, lean back. Then I took a Sadie mission, and I was super excited apparently to see Armadillo. I was fucking parkouring off of rocks and shit, trying to kill these guys who stole from Sadie. And I was like, am I just shit after not playing for 2 weeks? Or does like John Marston kind of slink at this? I don't know. I finally got my shit together, finished that Sadie mission, and then I had to go buy tools at the train store, whatever the fuck that is. No, really, what's a train store? Then I had to buy a house, like a whole ass house from what is apparently the Red Dead 2 version of IKEA, I guess. Went to get my tools, got shot the fuck up. Oh, Red Dead 2, how I missed you. I legit had to step away from the game for a minute because it was frustrating the hell out of me how slow they were making me drive a damn wagon. And then there was another montage, a house building montage. You know what I'm talking about. Then I randomly decided to go to Thieves Landing and was like, whoa, it's so small compared to Red Dead 1. Then I checked out Hennigan's Stead, but it was empty. So I started shooting up Armadillo because why not? Also, apparently there were a bunch of goats running around in a cemetery. I have no idea why or why I even noticed that. I went to Tall Trees. I killed a moose. I immediately got cougared. Such is life. Oh my God. Word on the street in Tumbleweed is that Herbert Moon is alive and well in Armadillo. Can't say no to visiting that racist asshole, so guess where I'm going next in Red Dead 2. That's not where I went next because there's some tweets about like, ooh, I went to a bar. I can order food, mozzarella sticks, jalapeno peppers. Oh wait, it's RDR 2. Chili will suffice, I suppose. Found out there were wild horses, caught one, broke it. Turns out it belonged to some Mexicans. So oopsie daisy. Then I hung out with Herbert Moon and I was waiting for him to say something racist so I can try to punch him. But they apparently fixed Herbert Moon because he didn't say anything outright racist, but I still wanted to punch him because the North remembers. Oh, and at that point, I was just kind of picking fights with people because I didn't want the game to be over. The next thing is legit just set some guy on fire for Sadie. I mean, who wouldn't really, you know? Then I was trying to help Sadie and wondering how this mission was harder than anyone I've done in a long ass while. The very next tweet is, yes, another drunken night in RDR 2. Okay. After this whole Skinners thing, I have a whole lot more sympathy for Uncle. It was fucking hard to defeat the Skinners and rescue him, but then Abigail and Jack were back, so it was all worth it, I guess. Oh my God. Apparently my dog got bitten by a snake. I swear to God, if this dog dies, especially after I sucked venom out of it, there's no further information about that. So I'm going to assume the dog didn't die, because if it had, I would have been pissed about it. In the original Red Dead, I got attacked by like 12 bears and somehow survived, yet I can't even kill one in RDR2. Then the game froze right as I was taking Abigail to the picture show, which seems like this is this is December 21st, 2018, y'all. I'm trying to finish this fucking game. I don't know why I was in such a rush. I'd played it for hundreds of hours at this point. I could have played it for hundreds more. I have actually played it for hundreds more, but I just really wanted to get through the story. I didn't want to be spoiled for anything, etc., etc. Here's another. I do not like Abigail. Okay, Tara. Listen, like, take a breath and realize that you were being kind of, I don't know, sexist maybe? Reflection and replaying both games has made me way more understanding of how they portrayed her. And if you don't like Abigail, I don't know, it's like if you don't like Sansa Stark, we can't be friends. Just saying. Anyway, my tweet was, I do not like Abigail, but god dang, this trip into town with her and John is sweet. It was sweet. And then they got engaged, like officially engaged. And I'm sure there's like a whole thing behind that, but my next tweet was, fuck the snow in these mountains and fuck Mike. I've never felt so sexy as I did when I killed all of Micah's men just now. What was that ending? I legit thought that Sadie and Charles would die. Oh my God, they didn't, thankfully. And then, listen, in hindsight, I regret these tweets. Okay? I really do. They were like, the credits were worth it. But my last tweet about the actual game was, what was that ending? I legit thought Sadie and Charles would die. Oh my God, they didn't. I love both of them. That's great. And then next, these credits are insisting upon themselves. Jesus Christ, you can't even pause or fast forward the credits, and there are important things. And just what the fuck? My dog is legit crying about the fact that she wants to go to bed, and these credits are never ending. My dog literally was crying, by the way. She, like, it was past 9 o'clock at night, and she was like, send me to bed, mommy. But like, send me to bed for her was come to bed, and I will not go to bed without you. Anyway, the credits for RDR2 and the fact that I can't pause or skip them is ridiculous. I swear that was 30 minutes of credits, and I'm still not sure if it was worth it in the end. We will see. And yes, it was absolutely worth it in the end. By the way, I got so choked up over the fact that John and Abigail got married right where they were later buried. I'm not intended. The whole wedding scene was like great. I honestly, like, I think I was just pissed about the credits because it was really late at night and my dog was crying at me to go to bed. And can I blame it on my dog? I don't want to do that though. Like, it was really my fault. Like, I was being an asshole. These credits were pissing me off and they really shouldn't have. They were amazing. And in the end, they were totally worth it because John and Abigail get married on the same hill that they're later buried on. And, that's very sad. That's very sad. Oh my God. Okay. I have read through all of these fucking tweets. This recording is very long. To be honest, it's not as long as I thought it would be, but I have like so much more to say because I haven't talked at all about Red Dead Online, about how this game affected my life personally, which it very much did, including that dog that was crying for me to go to bed. She passed away of cancer just like a few months later. And this game literally pulled me through that. Sorry. Not to mention what it means to my relationship with my current husband and the amazing experiences I've had creating and wearing cosplays from both Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2, as well as the more recent experiences at Tombstone Redemption and Black Hills Redemption. Like, you guys, I have, and also just like deeper thoughts on the possible future of this series. And somebody asked me what my thoughts are on like the symbolism of people's outfits and whatnot. Like, I have so much more to say about this, but even though this is my 100th episode, I have to keep it under a certain amount of timer. I know that it's going to be very difficult for people to listen to all the way through. So I'm going to end this here, but I have so much more to say, and I absolutely will be recording my part 2 of Red Dead Reflections as soon as I possibly can. I'm hoping within a week or two. It's going to depend on some things, but before I close out this particular episode, I always like to ask some questions of my listeners. And again, keeping in mind that I will be doing at least one more Red Dead Reflections episode, and let's be real, probably more. What are your thoughts on the following? First question, speaking of Red Dead 1 specifically, if you played it, did you find it easy or difficult to play as a low honor version of John? When you played Red Dead 2, what were your thoughts on the controls at first? Like, for instance, can you even count how many times you mistakenly killed someone or punched your horse? And I don't know, has there ever been a more beautiful game than Red Dead Redemption 2? And on that note, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to my 100th frickin' podcast. Before I close out, I just want to give a shout out to our Heroes Tier patron, Tommy of the TKOK Podcast Network. Thank you so very much to Tommy for his longtime support of Geek Saga Entertainment. To my other listeners, thank you for sticking this out to the end, and I hope you'll tune in for future Impulsive Hyperfocus episodes, at least one of which will be part 2 of this Red Dead Reflections discussion, though, as I've already mentioned, I'll be shocked if I don't end up with at least 3 episodes out of this, because as if I've not said it enough already, this video game series has been such a huge part of my life at this point, nearly as much as Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons has been, and that's saying a lot. That said, if you have any thoughts on personal stories of mine you're interested in hearing, or any particular rants or rambles you'd like me to go on, send me a DM at A Geek Saga on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, or Twitter, or again, email ageeksaga@gmail.com. Also, definitely follow me on the aforementioned social media accounts for the most current news and updates about the series. And please consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment for early access to not just these Impulsive Hyperfocus episodes, but also to my currently airing Haunt D Take Season 2 series and other perks.